Welcome to my channel. This is Anaiis, Patreon Sage. It's going to be a hot day where I am, so I'm up early with this reading, and it is 9/11. And so this reading is going to be following up on current energies for Sacred Union counterparts on their ascension journey, and also for twin flames. This is a beautiful reading. We have had 2 days of very intense energy, and perhaps things are going to calm down or dial down just a little bit depending on what we've been able to release and reintegrate and regenerate in the last couple of days. So I am going to be reading for current energies, and it's a much simpler reading. We have some integrations, obviously, that have taken place, and some movement. I think that will be very welcome, a very welcome experience for Sacred Union counterparts, Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine and Twin Flames, because we've all been doing such a vast amount of growth and evolution of our souls to come out of the pain body. So I think this reading actually reflects what things will and do and are and be and how they look when you're out of the pain body. And now there are so much, how do I want to say this? There are less distractions. There's less interference in terms of being on your inner union experience and appreciating what it is and understanding it and trusting it and surrendering to it. And now it looks as though there's going to be much less interference between you and your counterpart. There's been a tremendous amount of interference on this ascension journey, tremendous amount, and now we've reached the point where it's coming down to the individual and what we're choosing to do, and then how our choices flow into the collective, what do I want to call it? The collective event. The collective event will be quite interesting to see how that unfolds. Those who are on the ascension path and who are continuing to do their work, their joyful play at this point, it looks to me like we're going to be moving into some quite different energy, a lot of it now becoming very much simpler, direct, and co-creative. But we'll see what the cards have to say. So I am using one of my new decks, Dreaming Way. I'm also using Animal Oracle, and I will be maybe using a little bit of my World Tarot, and then my own deck that's there for guidance. I just want to play with those. So far, it's just been a day, but it's been pretty interesting. All right, so if you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, thank you. Please do like and share and comment and be in touch with me. I would love this channel to be a kind of an interactive space. I know we're all busy, but sometimes we need a little bit of extra validation and confirmation and affirmation that we're listening within and that we can trust what we hear. It's very important to be able to trust what you see, hear, know, and feel. So this is a little bit different because I just translate the current energies, and the current energies choose the cards. So we do have this out. This is going to be a reading for the Sacred Union Collective, the Twin Flame Collective. That's my card for that. When that comes out, I know that's what we're going to get. Now, interestingly, thank goodness, if you ask me, there's not another timeline merge here. We had one in my last reading, and maybe I'll generate some cards today so that you can tap into those readings if you are new to the channel, you haven't seen those yet. So we have here, at the heart of the reading, we have the Queen of Cups. And the movement in the reading, we have the Fool. So we have the Queen of Cups at the heart, core energy of the reading, which for me is a combination of the Divine Feminine and Gaia, and this for me represents the whole human that's come out of their pain body and is now sitting comfortably next to Gaia, feeling her love, feeling connected, realizing she's no longer separate, that she's come out of the 3D, she's dropped her pain body shell, and now she's being comforted and nurtured as she is going to be guided through what life is like in 5D and beyond. So this is that's the core of the reading. And the Fool energy, we know. The Fool is the fresh, new beginning. And this is the traditional tarot. I view the Fool as a leaving behind of the pain body, leaving behind what doesn't serve our ascension journey, leaving behind what doesn't easily cooperate with making room for bigger love. And so this is a new beginning, but it's not the new beginning of another cyclical wheel experience, which is what the tarot is about. This is a new beginning that's taking us into the 5D experience. And from there will be no more karmic cycles that we have to deal with. Now we've become awakened. We're co-creating. We're conscious. And while we may stumble and we have more to practice, there are no, from this perspective, the living lessons are done. The DNA is activated. And now we're beginning our journey of expressing our big love as a form of mission work, whatever that will be for each one of us, and it's going to be different. I can't stress enough how incredibly personal and unique this ascension experience is, and I would really try to balance out the uniqueness of the journey for each of us and the commonalities of what we've had to experience in common. And if we can keep those in balance and perspective, then we're really well prepared to move with this tremendous new energy. And we're taking the next step off of the ground that we know and onto the ground of our being, which will have very little to do with being directed by the mind or the intellect. This is the journey where the mind or the intellect actually begins to serve. To serve Gaia and the evolution and source. And I might as well show this now. We have the Hierophant, so there we have the spiritual aspect, we have the love, we have the spirituality, and we have the regenerated human being who's been through the paces, been through the mill. Excuse me for coughing, my allergies are acting up. I've just taken a little bit of some vitamin C in a pill. A little bit stuffy, a lot of ragweed active today, and hot. So we have the Hierophant, the spiritual expression, and we have the Queen of Cups, and the Fool energy is here to unite, so that the Hierophant has released the rigidity of authority and the religious orthodoxy and hierarchy, and this is the way it's done. So that's the Hierophant in a way is going on the Fool's journey as well. We're all on the Fool's journey right now. We don't have no idea what's about to happen. We really don't. And then this is the energy that is supporting Here we have the Lovers. This is the energy that is supporting what's happening now as we move through another shift in consciousness and awareness that will likely be a really beautiful current energy, right, taking us right into 2020. So that's what's here for us today, which is pretty exciting. Now, if you're not familiar with the cards and the card definitions, you can tool around on YouTube and watch other readers and enjoy their use and interpretation of the cards, of the traditional tarot decks, and even of the animal oracle decks, the animal decks, wild unknown animals. Okay, so where are divine masculine and divine feminine in the current readings for today? So we have integration here. So if for today's reading I don't need 3 cards, only 2 came out for the current energies because there's been integration, release, regeneration, and there's this reflects a new up-leveling, if you will, a new expansion that reflects having gone deep, having gone wide, having come into the conscious experience of living life on the circle, fluidly, emotionally free of the pain body, and with the mental body transformed, and with our subtle energy body also transformed, and these 2 things now working together in a beautiful fluid orchestration of direct experience and direct knowing. So this is where you are, divine feminine. If you've watched my videos of the last, well, really since the Lionsgate, you could see the progression, and this is where current energies are for those of us who've been kind of keeping up and keeping along, and we haven't self-sabotaged and thrown ourselves back into a delay or into another sort of stagnant pool. And if we have, it's because there's something we still need to clean up and attend to, and that's fine. But for those who have been steadily doing their inner work and their inner processing and focusing more and more on their connection with Source and self-love, here we are. Here we are. And I wanted to just show this because this has been such an incredibly challenging journey, and I've been on it for a really long time. Some of you, it probably feels like you've been on it 1,000 years when maybe you just began in 2017. We need to see, we need to feel, we need to know, and we need to acknowledge the validation that are coming, that yes, we are now living in the 5D. So that's really beautiful, divine feminine, and congratulations and kudos to you. And if you're not living in the 5D, don't despair. You still have the opportunity to decide whether or not that's something you really want to do. And for the divine masculine, we have out lion and hawk. So this is incredibly strong, powerful, grounded energy. Beautiful, beautiful grounded energy. This is reflecting the energy that was integrated going through the lion's gate for the divine masculine. And here we also have the element of clarity of the hawk, of a higher perspective that has become integrated with grounded power, strength, and a sense of purpose. This is really beautiful. So this is a reflection of your transformation and soul evolution, divine masculine. You have also oh, excuse me, take a sip of tea here. In these last 10 days, the divine masculine has gone very deep, very, very deep. and awakened and done more shadow work and understood. A lot of clearing happened around sacred sexuality for the divine masculine, and this is the reflection now of the integrated energies. So this is what we have with divine masculine and divine feminine reverberating and sharing this frequency information with each other. So we have the emotional body, we have the physical body, we have the causal body and the clarity that has released the mental body, and we have the butterfly reflecting the total spiritual transformation and soul evolution. This is the combined energies of the counterparts in their union. This is really beautiful. Okay, now let's take a look. With these combined energies now available, where does the energy flow next? Here we have, this is 5D. Here we have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Earth. I don't like to use the word Pentacles because for me it's aligned with dark magic. So here we have the Ace of Cups, which is an opportunity for absolute abundance in bigger love. And that's love of all kinds, not simply romantic love. Romantic love may not even be part of the picture anymore. We'll have to wait and see what happens, because it's been such a trap for both divine masculine and divine feminine. Now here we have the Ace of Swords, which is the symbolic. It represents truthful communication, clarity of thought, uncluttered thinking. And the Ace of Pentacles represents the abundance of Gaia and all of the elementals working together. When we are working together, there are 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. And human beings are the 5th element. Awakening human beings are the 5th element. We are the element of love. And that is what the emotion of love, truth, working with the elementals, Gaia's elementals, earth, air, water, and fire. This is now what we're able to do consciously in the 5D. So that's beautiful. Oh Lord, the hard work. Oh, I just tune into the amount of time, energy, effort, dedication, and devotion that I've been through. And I multiply that by the people in my soul group, which are, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make sure I have my count right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 of us, 9 of us. Some are more on the periphery, but there are a core of us that are actively engaged with each other almost daily. And I know the dedication and energy and devotion that they've put in, and I've been with these people, some of them for as long as 25 years. And those who arrived when we all kind of gathered, 2016, 2017, it was amazing to really listen to and respect the wonderful personal journeys, the soulful evolution of each person in our group. So now I multiply that when I think about the amount of energy and effort that has been applied to the journey of ascension, and we can now add at least another 144,000 people. That's a lot of co-creative energy. And that's what I think is being reflected here in this reading. This is really beautiful. So next out, I think this is important because I think really this is about the transformation of money. Because for many people, Pentacles represents financial abundance and well-being, and it's become separated from Gaia and her love. And part of what we're doing is, I may have to draw a new card, my own card for the Ace of Earth, or maybe it'll come out in the, if I clarify with the new deck. But this is part of the reason why I don't like to use traditional tarot. It's because of the mixed symbolism and understanding what this pentagram means in terms of black magic, and having the entire planet hexed in this way. And I personally, from 1991 through 1998, was around the world working on the Earth's grid, clearing these pentagram implants in the Earth grids. So I have difficulty with this card. That's just my personal experience. So now, this is interesting because with this transformation, and I've been asking the question myself, when we come out of the pain body and we're no longer willing to serve as slaves to the dynamic of money, that we're not going to agree, that we've got a new agreement of being, and it doesn't include that dynamic in the same way. Well, what happens? What does it look? I have no idea what it looks like. So I think that these three cards out next, the Knight of Earth, the Seven of Earth, and the Ten of Earth, matter, materialism, money. I would like to substitute the word abundance. A lot of readers do that. So I feel the Knight of Pentacles is bringing an offer of abundance from a divine masculine who has done his own slow and steady progress over the course of however many years. And now he's moving toward a divine feminine who has released herself from the old paradigm of concubine money, of submission and abuse of the feminine money, and she's moving into her own flow of abundance. And the two of them together are moving into abundance that they can share with community. So that this is how I see these cards. We have divine masculine and divine feminine bringing their resources and gifts together in abundance and co-creating more abundance for what their community will be seeking to thrive in 5D. And it's going to look very different. That's as much as I know, but I think this reflects where we're going as we're moving into 2020 with the transition of how money will be working, or I should say not working, or changing, or the way that it works changing, because it's been part of keeping everyone in a pain body. So I think this is really beautiful that we have validation of this dynamic changing. It will be quite the relief. And lastly, we have the Ten of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment in all growing phases of life. I view the family as all growing phases of human life, experience, and consciousness. And here we have the Four of Wands, which is the commitment to being a co-creator and living through big love and sharing love as the foundation of how we express ourselves. So here we have the Four of Wands, and this implies that there will be some couples maybe that will be still somehow functioning in somewhat the old traditional template of he-she relationships, but that I think there will be very few. And I think that there will be fewer and fewer and fewer babies coming in, because the ability to reproduce a human baby in this form will become more and more difficult to do. The planet is not, the 3D construct planet is not going to be able to sustain new life. So this is a representation of what our relationships and our circle of relationships and valued relationships and generating new young consciousness and nurturing it in a stable foundation, what that will look like in 5D. So I think this is where we're moving to, and this includes everyone. This includes everyone who's making the choice. So your babies who are coming in now, if you have young children, these are amazing children. I've met 8-year-olds who are, you know, they've got the consciousness of 40, 50-year-old people, and they know it. And so it's wonderful to have conversations with them, because at least I have been able to strip away, I'm talking to a child, and so no, I'm talking to another human being who is coming in already coded and ready for the ascension experience, and they're here and they're awake, and it's an amazing thing to witness, and I see a lot of it in the community in which I live. So we have the current energies taking us in this direction. So we're moving from a concentration on pentacles to a concentration on abundance and truth, and bringing that into all of our relationships, all of our human dynamics, as they will continue in a foundation of stability and love and community. So that's pretty darn exciting. All right, now what do we have over here? Here we have, this is this is in a sense looking at these other current energies. We have a Knight of Cups who's bringing in a new offer of love, which I feel reflects, you know, we have this Ace now as part of this dynamic on a collective level. We have Justice coming in for the divine feminine and divine masculine, and here we have it reflected in the the Ace of Swords here, that this dynamic is now cleared and operational, divine masculine, divine feminine. And then we have, I do feel this is interesting, we have Patience coming out with the Ace of Earth. And I think this is part of what we're working on here, is having the wisdom and the patience to be ready to support the transitions as they come. Temperance, yeah, and all this is emotional, and you know, this is beautiful, but one of the things that I think is interesting, today is 9/11, and so 18 years ago, there was a manipulated, energetic dynamic that we were forced to endure, and it was a huge ratcheting up of the global pain body. It was pure torture, and how that event was manipulated was absolutely abhorrent and disgusting. And now we've just come through, in the 18 years since that happened, we've had Hurricane Katrina, we've had the Gulf oil spill, we have had the massive earthquake that destroyed Haiti, we've had the tsunami that hit Japan, So let's just keep in perspective what we've been through as a collective in the last 18 years and recognize that for what it has been. It has been a gigantic manipulation to keep us in fear and to keep us trapped in our pain bodies. And this incredible push to destroy any trust that we have in life and in this planet, this beautiful planetary being Gaia, that she can't be trusted, that she's an evil feminine destructress. So the divine feminine in her now rising, it's not even that she's rising, it's that sacred union represents a balanced energy dynamic of 1/3 source, 1/3 divine feminine, and 1/3 masculine. So that's 1/3 source, and then magnetic, electric, electromagnetic energy, magnetic electro energy combined to bring into reflective form of some kind of co-creation the energy of source. So here we are, having come through now we have had Puerto Rico, and now we have the Abaco Islands and a good deal of the Bahamas. In utter and complete chaos and destruction, thousands of people ran from their homes for their lives. Some of them were fortunate enough to have passports and to be able to access them and tuck them someplace where they didn't lose them. No money. And so in the stories that are emerging from that situation, we had cruise ships going in and picking people up. And now people who came into the United States on those cruise ships are being held because of our customs policies. We had airlines, there was a report, I put it on my Patreon page, where a pastor described what was going on the Abaco Islands, and that he was fortunate, he and his family had their passports and they had money, they had a little bit of money. They waited for a day in the blazing sun with no food, and then they got to go on an airplane ride. That was going to cost them $75 a person, but then there was another airline who was willing to transport people for free. Right? So this is the challenge, is having the patience and the forbearance to look through our choices that we're going to be, I would say, forced to make around giving up the money system that is currently controlling the planet. Source is going to break that bank. Gaia is going to break that bank. The insurance companies will in no way be able to cover the disasters that are going to be falling, earthly, dynamics, one after another, after another, after another, after another. So the financial system will shift or collapse, or both, and we will be looking at consequences in our communities. They're already happening, because the planet has become a diabolical game of musical chairs. And every round they're adding more and more people, and they're taking away more chairs. So now you have like literally millions of people swirling around in an energetic circle of fear and need and lack and poverty and confusion. And now there's 3 chairs or 4 chairs. So this is what we really need to recognize, that this is what is happening around us, and this is why we are shifting to the 5D. And those of us who are living in 5D can see this, and we understand it, and we know we can't control it, because it is an act of both the conscious evolution of Gaia and in cooperation with Source to just take care of cleaning up something that is absolutely filthy. And it's not the earth who is filthy, planet Gaia is not the divine feminine who is filthy. So you have to ask yourself the question, who brought all this filth into our environment? So that's all of the crap that we've been cleaning out of our divine blueprints, so that we, operating from our original divine blueprints, can now say, no effing way can this continue. We will not cooperate. And I want to give a shout out to the people of Hong Kong who have demonstrated the power of a group of committed citizen activists to push back against tyranny and the threat of abuse and violence to control everyone on the planet. Because that's the game plan here. That's the game. Divide, conquer, and make them suffer. Okay. You just have to look around. It's not hard to see. But what also, for me, is not hard to see is the beauty and the amazing connected life that living in 5D has become. It's astonishing. It's absolutely glorious. So we're going to have the patience to allow ourselves to be led through this journey. And allow, at the same time we're being led through this transition, to not fall asleep out of fear. I happened to be in Moscow in 1991 when the Soviet Union was collapsing, and I saw it. I saw what was going on. I saw policemen who had not been paid. I saw doctors who were living on $40 a month. I saw it. And at that time I was given the information that similar things would be happening around the world, and that those of us who had come here specifically for this time, for this journey, for this right now, we would know, and we would be ready. And we would be ready to follow our intuition, follow our inner knowing, and step up in ways that we could to make the transition into 5D possible for more and more people. And to be able to hold steady and regenerate in ourselves without going into big fear and succumbing to big control. I mean, you know, one of the things that is shocking to me about the 9/11 experience is that how many people don't understand what happened with the Patriot Act. It's how our collective fear, how we were manipulated into just surrendering, into giving up so many of our democratic, what we would think of as rights, and certainly our civil liberties. And most people today aren't aware of what happened there. But you can find out. It's available for you to know if you want to know it. So we're going to be going through more pretty dramatic changes. But what I'm seeing reflected in this reading is that we're prepared to go through these changes and challenges, and to be helpful in coming up with solutions that are not based on more repression or more domination and control or more resources going to fewer and fewer people. All right, now here, very interesting, at the in between here, in the flow of energy in between, within the dynamic of the union, and we have all this energy here that's moving here, flowing, we have a combination of independence and being able to pull together our own resources from our own skills, gifts, talents, and effort. Effort. I don't want to use the word hard work anymore. I think hard work is the language of the system, and it's not 5D language. But we do have to make an effort. We do have to participate. So that's the energy of this Nine of Pentacles. And here we have the Six of Cups, which is the deep remembering and looking at our soul mates, our soul groups, our soul family, ourselves in the mirror with a deep remembering and knowing of who we are. And that really, once your DNA is activated, we become aware that there's just one lesson here that we're here to learn. It's not karmic lesson after karmic lesson after karmic lesson. When we have what's considered to be a karmic lesson, it's a long, slow, agonizing way of having awakened our DNA. That aha moment that you feel in your body, that's your DNA waking up. So here we're having this validation of awakening and remembering and recognizing and feeling this beautiful love. There's only one lesson here. And that lesson is to remember that we are love and that love is part of everything that exists. It is the fifth element in the manifested creation. Love is the fifth element. So, let's see if there's anything else that I feel this is pretty clear. All right, these have been pre-shuffled. So, what's at the bottom of the deck? We have the Magician. Now, we can take this two ways. This for me represents the transformation of this pentagram controlling and commanding four elements. This transition of this black magic into something that is completely different. And okay, here we have the Ace of Wands. So here's our fourth ace. Here we have it. And I'm going to put this over here because I think this is part of the beautiful energy that's now going to be available within the twin flame sacred union dynamic, because the sexual energy has been understood for what it is, which is sacred sexuality, sensuality. So here are a couple of other little cards that have come out. We have that. I like to think he's transforming into a conscious co-creator who doesn't need to use magic. We have Queen of Wands. We have the World. We have more divine feminine energy rising in love. We have balanced giving and receiving of unconditional love. We have the Hierophant again. Spiritual. I should be showing these, I'm sorry. These are all just coming off the bottom of the deck. The Hierophant. King of Wands. Beautiful. The Fool again. And the Nine of Cups. So this is just straight off the bottom of the deck, which was generously shuffled. So this is where the energies are coalescing and bringing us opportunities to experience ourselves as sacred union partners, as twin flame connections, soul connections within our physical realm and our spiritual realm, and all of our subtle bodies having been transformed and realigned. And so this is pretty powerful. This is coming through what I would call the new moon, not the new moon, coming through the transition from the new moon to the full moon. So this is what's transpired in that period of time. And I'm going to just pick some guidance from one of my cards. These are my Angel B. Be wisdom, be wise. And let's see if there's just a message or two that can come out here. We have, okay, shadow work. So here we have a validation of how much shadow work has been accomplished by our collective. And I'll put that with the Divine Feminine. Ooh, here we have sharing. Okay, and I'm going to take one more card. This is the card, and the message on the back is sharing, which I don't know if that'll be backwards for you guys, but there that is. And I'm going to take one more card before I know where to put things. See if one more card wants to fly out of here. Okay. All right, we've got a couple. And I'm going to take them because it's fun for me to see the energy flowing in this way. We have giving, so I'm going to put sharing and giving here. These are my Gaia cards. These are my elemental cards. These represent the cycle of conscious co-creation. So sharing and giving are two aspects of the conscious co-creative process, which I do teach as an online course. And here we have, again, patience, please. Patience, please. So we have this validating the temperance card. Okay, so that is the reading for today. I would love to have your comments. Please do like and share. And trying to, there. Patience. Patience. Yeah, I'd love to get your feedback on my cards. I think they're interesting, and it's a different look. It's a bit abstract. And when I first came out with these were I called them angel bees because I could feel they were very much a part of receiving information and guidance. So this one is from the suit of creativity, and I'm sorting them through. So I would love to have your feedback on how these speak to you, if they speak to you at all. And they're not going to speak to everybody. Okay, so that's it for today's reading. Thank you very, very much. Once again, kudos to you. Kudos to all of us for the amazing, beautiful journey that we're on and how we're participating in it. Okay, that's it. No extended reading. See you next time.